Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Simply Together show. It is, can you believe it, the 16th of September, and people are already putting up on their social media 100 days to Christmas, 99 days.
Oh, I had a fit when I went in Tesco the other day and saw all the wrapping paper. And I'm like,
yeah, it's already there. The heroes, the Quality Street, all of that, they've already started. Yeah. Even though we've got Halloween and all fireworks beforehand, Christmas is already there. I don't know what it's like out there. It's not as windy as today. It's a bit grey. It's not as warm as it has been, but it's September. What do we expect? So, how are you doing, Nico?
It's all good. It's all good. Very highly alert and interested after all the shenanigans at the weekend. And I know.
I'm quite, I don't want to say I'm angry, but I'm quite wound up by it all.
Well, that's the problem. I think sometimes, to be honest, in the past, I've looked at it and think about the topic at hand, think about, okay, what's your take on it? What are you going to do, etc. But this time, it just hit differently to the extent I unfriended somebody on Facebook yesterday.
Really?
I have been on Facebook since 2009, and apart from troll foolish people, I have never unfriended anybody for any reason. But I just thought, no. Those two opinions, the two opposing opinions can no longer sit in the same space.
Yeah. I put something up on Friday, I think it was, and everybody does things differently. Now, if you put something up that I am not necessarily agreeing with, I might not actually say anything because that's your point of view and that's your Facebook page, right? That's your Facebook, right? So I might not necessarily say anything. But however, on Friday, there were a few comments that I just thought, you don't need to say that, because I literally started with the proviso saying blah, 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 blah. All right. But there was these comments which really annoyed me. And then I put a different one up on Saturday or Sunday, and there was one or two there. And I just thought, you people need to go. You just need to go. And maybe you need to just come off my Facebook, because
it is a
did
problem.
your mum not tell you if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I saw your video yesterday and I just thought to myself, maybe me and Nico need to do a little something, whether we do a video together or we do something and have a conversation around that, because that's not for today.
No, obviously not.
We've got a guest today.
There.
Yeah, something needs. I'm very. Yeah.
But apart from that, are you good?
Yes.
And how are the children's siblings? How are they?
Poorly.
Oh no.
Remy's come back from Ibiza. She was poorly while she was in Ibiza, and she is poorly, and he's got a bit of poorliness, and I'm going to be poorly because it's in my house.
That was supposed to lift your spirits. Asking after the children. Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind.
Don't ask about them then. What else is going to lift your spirits?
Our guest.
Our guest is going to lift your spirits. So we're putting a lot on you, Jenny. We're putting a lot on you because you got to lift our spirits. But ultimately, no, I'm fine, and I'm going to London on Saturday, and I've got a baby shower on Sunday. So there's some lovely things this weekend. Lovely this weekend. Good. So that's good. That is good. So we do have a guest. We have the lovely Jenny Lyons on here today. How you doing?
I'm okay, actually. I'm actually having a kind of Monday-ish Tuesday. So I woke up this morning feeling Monday-ish. Then I realised that it was Tuesday. And then I was thinking, it's Tuesday, but why am I feeling it's a Monday? Who knows? So I'm a kind of a Tuesday, Monday-ish kind of Friday-ish mood, actually. So there you go. You know, good luck making sense of that.
So you're having a good one.
You know, it's all right.
You're having a good.
It's all right.
Excellent.
In the whole scheme of things, some things we can't change.
Yeah,
100%.
The weather and what day of the week it is. Do you know what I mean? So we just got to get on with it. There's no point complaining. So
yeah. So I can see what it says under your name, employability consultant. So tell us a bit about you and what you do before you tell us about your event.
Me personally, I'm an employability consultant, and I help people into the jobs they want or help them closer to employment. And I specialize, I've got two hats. One hat is my public hat, where I'm working on projects funded by the DWP usually, or charities, helping people with specific challenges to employment. And it could be, and one isn't bigger than the other, because when you've got a challenge, it's a challenge basically. And it could be English is not your first language. It could be you haven't worked for a long time. It could be you've had a significant career break, raising children, being a carer for aging parents. And people don't talk about that. People don't realize, people understand that somebody hasn't worked for 10 years because they're raising kids. But people don't talk about the tens of thousands of people who give up their careers to look after their aging parents at home because they don't want them to move into a care home. And by the time their second parent dies, they may be 63, 64, and they're not old enough to pull their pension. Because remember, women used to retire at 60, but no longer. And people are now faced with having to look for a job when they didn't think they'd have to look for a job again. Yeah. And they're 63, 64. And so they've got specific challenges. Particularly, they tend not to have such great digital skills, things like that. And these are people who always worked in offices, you know, that kind of thing. So that's quite a large group. I work with people who are recovering from trauma, displacement from escaping domestic violence, people who are ex-asylum seekers who now have right to work. There are people who've been in prison, people who are recovering from mental health issues, people who have experienced homelessness, are in the middle of experiencing homelessness. There are loads of people who've got challenges towards getting into work. Plus, there's also people who've got a range of disabilities, some visual, some not, including mental illness. There are people who are also classified as being neurodiverse, ADHD, Asperger's, dyslexia, dyspraxia, loads of different things that are a challenge in getting and keeping a job. So I specialize in the big C, the big challenge. That's one hat. So I've got to have a big head for that hat. There's a lot of things in that hat. Trust me. That
literally sounds like you're covering virtually everybody.
That's what I was thinking.
Bar maybe, I don't know, one or two groups of individuals. You're covering all the rest.
There's a lot of there's a lot of people. When people say, I can't believe there's so many people not working, there's loads of jobs out there. There's loads of people who've got challenges in getting and keeping a job. And even if some of them got a job, the challenge is keeping that job. Yeah, because of what they've been through. And people don't really talk about that. The challenge is not just getting the job, it's keeping that job.
Yeah.
And I also work what I call my private, I always refer to them as private clients. And I was thinking my mum would turn in her grave the way I say private clients who pay me for personal services. Matron! It sounds more exciting than it is. Trust me. But I have private clients. These are people who a lot of them are working, but they just want help changing career or moving up in their career, and they want CVs, coaching, They want interview prepping. They need help trying to secure that next big job. And I have an emerging group of people, which is quite scary actually, but people who need help just starting because it's harder than ever before for young people to get their first job. So I have a lot of people, and their parents usually pay me to help them get their part-time job, which in our day used to be that Saturday job in WH Smith's or Mothercare or whatever. Trying to find and prep them to get their first job. And I help people in applying for degree apprenticeships, because that's the big thing people are trying to get onto now. Now people are realizing that just because you have a degree, it doesn't mean you can get a job.
100%.
It's the hardest it's ever been for graduates to get a job. And I do work for graduates, helping them get their first job after graduating. And often their parents pay me to help them do that as well. So that's me in a nutshell, helping people navigate the world of work.
Can I just ask you a quick
question? I love what I do, though, because I love it when people get a job.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question, especially in terms of, you mentioned people with is it neurodivergence and all of that. How do you work with the employers on that basis? Because in my head, if you've coached them and they've done really well, they've got into a job, is the employer aware of this, of the fact that this person has these challenges? And do they make allowances?
That's a good question, because I work with the applicant, not the employer. But you have some employers who are classed as disability confident, and that's all councils, NHS, the biggest companies, and that's a label. But that doesn't actually change the mindset and the practice of individuals.
Yes.
So it's no real protection, really. Yeah. But I help people become confident in talking about what their challenges are.
Oh, I see.
And being able to explain to an employer what it actually means for them. Because unfortunately, a lot of people, if you tell them you have something, people in their mind think they know what it means.
Yeah.
And that can be over positive or over negative.
Yeah.
For a lot of people who, if they say they have ADHD, that an employer automatically thinks this person is going to be screaming, shouting, breaking things, and they're going to have anger management problems, because in their mind, they're thinking about somebody they went to school with or somebody they've seen on the TV, not realizing that ADHD's got so many manifestations.
Yeah.
Same way, if somebody says they're autistic, people often think, oh, what can you do? What's your special skill? What is it? They see TV programs about people who could do art, who can memorize this, that, and the other, not realizing that's a certain type of autism, which there's only a tiny percentage of autistic people in that group.
Yeah.
So people often get colored by all sorts of ideas, which, people don't understand. Yeah. So the onus is on that person to say, this is what I have, and this is how it can manifest itself, and this is how you can best support me. Mm-hmm. And it's up to that person to be open about how can they best thrive. And some organizations like Marks and Spencer's are really good with working with people who've got any kind of neurodiversity. Some companies are really, really good.
Okay. So 2 things then. The first thing is how I now view my private clients is not the way I viewed them about half an hour ago. Now in my head, I've got private clients.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I often say to people, look, I can't go out tonight. I have a meeting at 8:00, because a lot of the people who I'm working with, they work in the day and then they've got a commute. And if they're looking for another job, they can't really talk in the daytime because they don't want to be overheard. And so when I'm working with private clients, it's in the evening. It's late at night. I have to put kids to bed. So I said, I've got a private client after 9. So makes it sound mysterious, doesn't it? It's not.
I must admit, when I do say, because I'm a therapist, so when I do say to people, I'm busy tonight, so I've got clients, my thought process is, do they understand that I'm a therapist? You know, I'm a counsellor. That there's nothing else there. But now that you've said it, now I'm thinking, oh my dear. Anyway.
No, but can I just give you a tip? If you really want to outfox people, what you need to do is just say to people, what you do. So I've got a rush, and then you get your lipstick out. I've got a private client.
Oh my Lord.
That's what you need to do. That will get people interested in what you're doing, right?
Oh my days. Okay.
I know it's wrong. Come on.
No, I think it's fun. I think
it's lovely. It's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. Hilarious. And I think I think it's fun, and I think it's a very unique British way of looking at things, isn't it? Because that's us. We liked, what do they call them? The double entendres.
Double entendre, yeah. Double entendre.
We love them. We do love them.
So, okay. What I was going to say also is, like you said, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised that you are also supporting teenagers, young people to get their first job. Because like you said, we all had our first job. We could literally just walk to the shop and then you'll get a job. It was that simple all of those years ago. But you're helping young people to get their first job, but you're also helping the older generation who didn't think they would still be in employment to get their jobs as well.
Yeah. And they often really lack confidence.
Yeah.
Because no one's ever going to take them on. And that's just so not true. I mean, you know, we are an ageist society and no one can tell us otherwise because the law doesn't change your opinion. The law just dictates what you can and can't do legally, but it doesn't change your mindset. You know, how long has racial discrimination been illegal? Does it make the country less racist?
No.
Does it laws don't make the country less sexist, ageist, because people don't necessarily change. It's the framework we're working in. That is what changes, and how companies are legally forced to operate. There are individuals who are wary of employing older people.
Yeah.
But there are lots of companies that embrace the idea.
Yeah.
That really embrace the idea because people bring knowledge with them.
Yeah.
Bring experience. And they also bring an air of resilience that younger people often don't have. Yeah. And that's not saying all younger people don't have, but it's often, and even things like employees will fear that if you take on an older person, they will be slow to take technology. They're always going to have a hospital appointment for hip replacements and getting their cataracts out. And people just view this is what older people are like because they think of their nan or whatever, but they have an idea of, you know, if you take on an older person, it will be like working with Miss Marple. Do you know what I mean? But people do think it's going to be like that.
Actually, that is true, Jenny, because even when you are currently in the workplace, people still think like that. Because I was told recently that they were surprised at how quickly I took to the new system. And I'm thinking to myself,
really?
Really? Do you know me?
Yeah, but there is a fear because, yes, there are some older people who, you know, have not yet needed to use technology. They get their things for them. If they haven't worked for a long time, they've bypassed the growing of you know, how things operate. But at the same time, even though there may be some people who are slower to take up on technology, you tend to find that a younger person who wakes up on Monday morning and sniffs twice, they're going to bed with flu. Where an older person, they're going to work. They just sneeze. And there is a difference in mentality in a lot of different things. So there are balances.
Yeah.
There are balances. And people are realizing that more and more people, older people, yes, there actually are. Because if you've always been if you've always been working, you will find that you have had to slowly adapt to, you know, I remember when they brought in email at work. I remember I had the internet at work, you know, and things like that. And you slowly have adapted to working systems because it's a gradual shift. And so, you know, people, more and more people are realizing what older people do bring to the party. Mm-hmm. And part of my role is building people's confidence.
Well, you've built my confidence already. I'm just, because, you know, I turned 60 this year, looking at when I'll be able to retire. That's not anytime soon. And I still need to be within that workplace. And that's going to be there for a while. So, you know, it is where I must have thought when I was 18 that I'm going to be at home with my feet up by the time I was about 55. That has not happened. That has not happened and is not going to happen for now. But I might win the lottery tonight, so
you
never know.
But then you would still need to get the skills to manage the lottery money, so you could still get help there. And it's funny. Actually, that segues into something else I was just going to say, because I did see a little report where talking about employing older people, that there are some professions where they tend to want older people simply because, you know, we live now in a, if you haven't done it before kind of culture, then you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So like a lot of advisory roles, apparently employers tend, I don't know if this is true, I'm actually asking this as a question to Jenny. Do you think that is true, that they would prefer to take older people because they believe they would instill more confidence and, you know, somebody fresh-faced out of uni?
Depends. It's very difficult because it depends. It depends on what it is, because there is an idea that people with lived experience, lived trauma and things like that have extra gravitas. But there are old-fashioned ways of thinking that are harmful to people.
Yes.
Old-fashioned ways of thinking is often, you know, come on, put your big girl pants on, you can do this. And in a way, we're thinking we're encouraging people, but often we're telling people to minimize their pain. And
yes.
Yeah. And a very old-fashioned way of looking at it is, oh, there are worse things that happen. Because you often see, when we had the Me Too movement, and you see things about, I don't know, Greg Wallace from MasterChef, Gina DeCampo, and you have a lot of older people saying, look, young girls today have got to toughen up, because in my day, you know, people slapped you on the bum, they made a joke, they tweet your nipple, they, you know, we always have older people saying, in my day, this happened and nobody got hurt. And that is quite a dangerous mentality to have.
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
So, you know, it's a fine line between, you know, older people can bring this, but there's a lot of harm in the way we used to think about things.
Yeah.
You said a message that actually nobody got hurt, and people say that. You know, I had a friend at work, I used to use a racial term and nobody complained. But we now know we can't be saying that ever, let alone a place of work. So, you know, we have to be really careful about how we do that. And one of the workshops that I've written and run is, I've done for local people, is explaining the modern world of work, where I had people in their late 50s and 60s, and we were talking about inclusivity, diversity, equality, and just finding out what people thought was acceptable was absolutely shocking. But it's not their fault, because the last time they worked, all that was okay.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, it's just a laugh, and we got on really well. He didn't mind that we used to call him XYZ, and it's a bit scary, but that's how people actually viewed the world of work. So all okay. And it's not.
And that's the thing, though, isn't it? Because also where they're saying nobody got hurt, that's all well and good. However, I'm, as a therapist, and many therapists out there, and then working with people who have been hurt either through the generational trauma, because it's then been passed down, it's then been shared. They've then heard that older generation saying things like, well, it's okay because they only did this, or it's okay because it was only that, you know, and that trauma is still there. It's still there.
100%.
You know, so yeah, there's a lot there for people to even come to terms with, but it is very different. The world of work now is it's interesting, because I had a conversation with somebody. I want to say it was my brother. It might have been my brother. I can't remember. Anyway, and we were talking about work, and it couldn't have been him actually, because we're talking about working in an office, and that's not him. Anyway, on a Friday, we used to go to the pub at lunchtime. This is when I worked in an office. And we used to go to the pub at lunchtime with all of the managers and everybody. It was a small little place. You'd have loads to drink, then go back to work, look like you're doing some work, because I'm pretty sure I was working, but I don't know how much capacity I had there. And then you go home. You can't even do that now. That is not something that you'd even do. But I can guarantee there would be there was about 7 or 8 of us in the office, including 2 managers, and every Friday would be in the pub in the lunch hour and then go back to work.
Yeah.
And then got on my scooter and my coat.
Everything's changed now. And with regards to older workers, the key things I say to them is you have to be open-minded, and you have to come away from that's not how things used to be. And you know, people, just simple things and the terminology and people's concepts and getting people relaxed enough for them to admit what are the things that worry them the most. And the amount of people said, yeah, but I might have to work next to a gay person. And I would say, okay, and what would worry you about that? Because, well, they're gay. I said, are you concerned they're going to try to have sex with you while you're using the photocopier? What is it? No, but you need to explain it to me, because I'm trying to visualize what's going to be scary. And I said, well, no, but so tell me, what is that bit? Oh, you're both in the lift, so he's going to have sex with you in the lift. He's going to ask you out in the lift. Because, well, no. I said, so what is it that you're scared of? You're going to wake up and being gay because there's a gay guy within 100 feet of you. What is it that scares you?
I know.
And they're like, no, but you're scared. But I need to understand, because if you say to me that I have a fear of ladybirds, which not many people do. People are scared of spiders, daddy long legs, wasps, but you don't find many people scared of absolutely terrified of ladybirds. But if you ask me why I'm scared of ladybirds, I can tell you why I'm scared of ladybirds. I know it's irrational, but I can tell you. You're telling me.
And why are you scared of ladybirds?
1976, hot summer. I went on a day trip. I think it was Clacton. I was covered head to foot in ladybirds. I've never known fear like it or since. And it was the first and last time I ever saw my mum scared of anything, is when that swarm of ladybirds were coming towards us. And the shops at the seaside place wouldn't open the door because they didn't want to let the ladybirds in. And we were left covered in ladybirds. And I remember, you know them wigs black women used to wear in the 70s, My mum's wig was covered in ladybirds,
No way!
And I just remember thinking I was going to die that day. And ever since then, I've been terrified of ladybirds.
Okay.
I can tell you why I know it's irrational because they're tiny, but I know how I felt that day.
Yeah.
And when I see a ladybird, I start to sweat. And if there's one that lands on me, I'm screaming in the most way. But I can tell you, even though it's irrational, I can tell you that that's my fear.
Yeah.
I said to this guy, what is it you're worried about working next week? And, you know, an hour later, he couldn't tell me. So
because his fear is not.
Yeah. So, you know, what is it you think he's going to do? We might have to use the same toilet. So you think, what do you think he might do in the toilet? Well, he's gay. So I said, right, he's gay. You're a bloke. So that means he's going to fancy you. Well, he might. And I said, okay, so you're heterosexual. Yeah. I'm a woman. Do you want to sleep with me? No. but you're heterosexual. Does that not mean you want to have sex with every female on the whole entire planet? Well, no. So if you're working with a gay guy, that means he must find you attractive. And on top of that, he wants to have sex with you. And he's going to definitely force himself on you, the fact that he's going to fancy you, and he obviously is going to fancy you. I tied him up in so many nuts. I guess, moral of the story, not all gay people want to have sex with you. And not all gay people want to have sex with you in the lift, on top of the photocopier, when you're making a cup of tea.
Right? Oh, I love it.
Oh, my God.
And when you go to work, you could actually go to work, come back, and be in the same room as a gay person, and nothing happens to you. You're there. Yeah, I'm glad we cleared that up. Thank you. Next. Because ultimately, a lot of people's fears were just... And I said, you probably worked with the gay people for when you were working, but you just didn't. I said, well, no, nobody I knew was gay, but so how would you have known if they were gay? Of course, they would have kissed you, wouldn't they? You would have known. No. Oh, they would have been wearing a pink suit with a ruff and you know. So I said, how do you know? I said, I've thought of it. And he was laughing and said, yeah, but this is how we need to challenge how we think of it. And I said, yeah. And I said, this, and you know, and people being worried about working with Muslims. And I said, like, but why?
It's so funny how you found that
sure, but why? What do you think is going to happen to you? And trying to explain to people in the modern workplace, we treat people as equals. And you know, I said, oh yeah, but we're not, you know, nobody's got a sense of humor anymore because, you know, some of the things we used to say at work we can't say anymore. And I said, well,
that's a good thing.
And I said, you know, years ago, they used to boil people in oil, but somebody realized, A, it's a waste of oil, and B, it's just not user-friendly. It's just not great. Because that's the thing about medieval times. They didn't really have good methods of dealing with people. And he said, but things change. And I just said, you know, some things people realize we're kind of wrong. And I said, they abolished slavery because I said that's a bit unfair and it's not nice. Because obviously, I said, yeah, because people develop. People realize that actually what we're doing is wrong and there's a better way. And we have to embrace that.
You
don't lose anything. And he goes, oh, yeah, but it's changed. He goes, yeah, things have changed. But can you tell me what you are losing because other people are gaining respect? And I said to him, look, you've got to think of a pie. And I said, treating people with respect is not like a pie. He goes, what do you mean? I said, if you have a pie and we cut it in half, me and you have half. Yeah. If I eat half of your half, that means I've got 3/4 of the pie and I've got more than you. And I said, treating people with respect is not like a pie. You can give more respect to somebody, but doesn't mean you have less. It's not a pie where if you have more, somebody has less.
That, yeah.
Yes.
And I said, life isn't like that. Love and respect isn't like that. Yeah. You give somebody more respect and make them feel more respected. You don't have less respect. It's not a pie. And that is the basic way I can explain it to you. You respecting your fellow man, your fellow work colleague does not give you less, doesn't leave you with less. And once you realize that, you will respect other people and not fear something's been taken from you. You will find that when you respect your fellow colleague and you open up your mind and heart, you will actually gain because you'll learn more about another culture, another way of life. You're not losing anything. And it's really important to try and explain that to older people who haven't worked for a long time because their perception of the workplace is humorless. All the things we love to do, we can't do. Freedoms are being taken from us. And that's being used a lot now with people flag waving and the concept that we are losing things. No, you're not losing anything. It's not pie. Respecting people, you don't lose anything. And that's my three words. It's not pie.
There is, there's a job there for you, because there's some idiots out there doing some jobs that you need to be doing instead of them, right?
I misunderstood that, because I thought you were going to say there's a job in there because I like pie. Because I was thinking, where is it? Let me go. A job involving pie. I'm there. Yeah.
Jenny, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Have you had anybody that you've not been able to? Because to me, your explanations are really straightforward and rational, and they're really, really. To them, I love an analogy, so they're really good. But have you found anybody that has not been open to these things and you've not been able to help them?
I've had people who have, I think that my analogies has hit home with them, have made them feel angry with themselves.
Right.
And the last time I've seen them, I know I have left them with things to think about, which made them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a gift, because nothing changes in life until we get uncomfortable. That is what being uncomfortable is what inspires change.
Yeah. But they have to go through that uncomfortable time.
Yeah.
To then say, yes, that's fine. Yep, I get that. But they might not get it right at that time when you're telling them and you're making them feel uncomfortable. They may not want to go through that, but they will do. Because actually, if you don't, then there is no change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Oh, Jenny. I'm honest to God. There is. I don't know. We need to get you on the TV. We need to get you down talking to. Yes. I don't know why you're looking at me like that. Seriously, the way you've explained things is just so. I don't know. It just makes it look like wow.
For me, the things that we need, what we need, can be sorted so efficiently and cheaply. It's just about every individual being understanding of others. And it's not about agreeing. It's not about agreeing with people. I don't seek to agree with people. I seek to understand and listen what people are talking about. And invariably, they may be saying things that are so opposed to what I believe, but I'd rather know what's out there, what I'm contending with, than not knowing what's in people's minds. Like I was saying earlier, people in your Facebook group, look, I see what some comments people make and I shake my head. And I'm like, you know what? Bye. Yeah, there you go. I don't give a second thought. And I believe that people have a right to put up their opinion. But if I put up my opinion now, I'll wipe the floor with you. Don't get upset.
Yes.
Don't get upset.
Yeah.
Particularly when you put up things that have no basis on fact. It's just copied rhetoric from uneducated fools. If you're going to use that to push forward, you deserve me to deal with you. Simple as that. Now, I had somebody send me a video on TikTok, actually, about trying to do some kind of collective prayer for that Kirk guy that got shot. Trying to do some kind of collective prayer and saying about a man of God has been, it's a black woman actually, who sent me this thing about collective prayer and all of that, saying, a good man, family man. I just sent her one long piece of thing, And I just, let me just correct you on this, I said people must have the right to voice their opinion and not fear being killed for it, because I don't care what people believe and how abhorrent I think their standpoint is. You should be able to have your opinion without fear of being killed. And as simple as that. He was wrong for him to be killed. Anybody to be killed.
Yeah.
What I will say, I won't be mourning people who openly do not like people of my colour.
Exactly.
People who openly say, with a Bible in their hand, as I explained to this woman, that they think we were better off as slaves. People who say that if there was a black person flying a plane, he'd have a right to say, are they qualified? If there was a black surgeon, I should question if they're qualified. Somebody who openly encouraged the harassment of educated black women because he didn't like the fact that there were educated black people doing anything, particularly women. And a lot of these women, because of the harassment he encouraged, were in fear of their life and had to flee their homes because people were threatening all sorts. I'm not going to mourn this person. I'm not going to glorify their death because I don't think they should be dead, but I'm not going to pretend this person was somebody that they were. This person believed that gay people should be killed. This person believed that women shouldn't have the right to vote. This person believed that paedophilia should be kind of reworded to accept all the people who were paedophiles and call it something else that sounded less bad than what it actually is. This is not a man of God. Just because he was about family values, you look
what
at...
was he though, Jenny? Was he? Because I heard that I mean, I always think people about all of these things, all the things you have said, but I can't remember where I read it, apparently or allegedly, he's not here to defend himself, said that even if something bad happened to his 9-year-old daughter, and the consequences of that was that she had to have a little baby, that he would expect her to go through with it.
Well, yes,
how can you say that about your own daughter?
But all the right wingers, the extreme right wings, they believe that there is no reason ever to have a termination because
I get that.
Because it's the text. So even if something happened to his daughter, she was raped, molested, or whatever, and she was made pregnant, that is not good enough grounds to take a life of the unborn child. And the extreme right wingers, there is no get out of jail card on the abortion issue. Everybody, doesn't matter. And even if it was to risk the life of either mother or child, you know, the concept is it's in God's hands. If God wants you to survive, you will. And what I find dangerous about people like him, it's like going back to the Ku Klux Klan days, where what used to happen is their whole basis for them killing and lynching black people and their war on people of color was rooted in the Bible. They would say it's in the Bible, this is God's word. And the fact that after they lynch black people and they set fire to them, they'd be standing underneath them with our holy Bible, reading from it. So when I have some random black woman sending me messages about praying he's a man of God, he held a Bible. He quoted from the Bible. He did not do God's work because he made a fortune on promoting division and hatred. And people say he's a martyr like Martin Luther King. I find deeply offensive. Because Martin Luther King spoke about unity, making everybody equal. This man was talking about killing gay people, making paedophilia legal, trying to make black people lower in society. He said the civil rights movement was wrong. Should have conceded. And I don't believe that person is a man of God. Yes, he was a family man, but the vast majority of people love their families. You know, he was. You know, end of the day, he was somebody's son, somebody's husband, somebody's father. He will be mourned. I am not mourning him because I didn't know him.
Yeah,
you know, I didn't know Prince, but I mourned Prince because I could tell you what Prince brought into my life. This man wasn't bringing anything positive to my life. Do you know what I mean? Again, he should not have been killed, and I'm not glorifying his death.
100%.
But I'm not going to pretend he's some kind of saint. And I saw some artwork which disturbed me of the depiction of Jesus welcoming him home and hugging him. And that put I had to reach for the gin bottle when I saw that. I tell you, no. That for me, that was a step too far. But the one thing that really wound me up was this thing about him being a family man, because he openly mocked the parents of who had lost children in mass school shootings. He mocked people who were about to bury their children.
That's a new one for me. I haven't heard that one.
Because he believes that in order to have for the Second Amendment of the right to bear arms, In order for that to remain, they have to accept that there will be casualties.
And can you imagine saying that basically the children are collateral damage? That's what he's saying.
Yes, he believes, and he doesn't believe in showing empathy. It's a made-up concept. I don't believe I want to champion that, because I want a world with empathy, because I can't know everybody on the planet. I cannot understand or live through every trauma that everybody's going to go through on the planet. I can't see everything with my own eyes. We need to have empathy and understand that actually that thing that I've not seen or heard that somebody's going through, I don't think that I would like that if that's happening to me. And maybe that's got me stopped because I don't think it's good. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, listen, ladies, because Jenny has actually got something that she wants to share.
I was going to say
just to finish that, as you said, and I 100%, nobody should be, their life should not be taken the way his was.
Never.
Not at all. But what somebody did put on my Facebook feed was that they thought he was a kind soul. And I just thought, come on now, really? Anyway, I'll leave that one with you. Kind soul.
He wasn't a shouter.
You've got an event coming up.
Yes, I have. And it's on the 4th of October. It's a Saturday. And it's a Windrush event. Every year, our church, All Saints Church in Luton, Shaftesbury Road, that coincides with Black History Month, we always have an event celebrating Windrush celebration, and every year we have a different theme. And this year we are celebrating the entrepreneurship of the Windrush generation.
Oh, wonderful!
And like the generations after Generation X, millennials, and people who have set up their own businesses. And we're going to have 2 panels of people. We're going to have talk speakers from 6 local businesses, including people doing food, people doing social enterprise, people doing beauty. And they're going to be talking of their experiences. And we're going to have somebody, I think, talking about the old partner movement where people used to save communities, which was a linchpin of the Windrush generation, that most of whom at that time were unable to borrow money. And it was an important way of raising money to buy essentials for the home. If you were going back to Jamaica for a holiday, see a parent or something like that. So we're going to be talking about that. And we're also going to be having great music. We're also going to be having some snippets of a film called Beyond the Rush, made by a local filmmaker, Niall Taylor. And we had a preview of this film before, and he managed to secure a grant to make a longer film. And there are loads of local people from the Windrush generation in there, and great music showing Luton Carnival, Luton shops. I've seen bits of this film. There's so many people I recognise. It's lovely. People, brief snippets about what it was like coming to the UK, coming to Luton back in the 60s and whatever. And we've got some great local vocalists as well. And
that's fantastic.
It's always a great do, well attended. The thing about All Saints Church, where it is always been very community minded, always welcoming. So there'll be people, not just Black people from Caribbean backgrounds, there'll be Black Africans, there'll be Muslims there, there'll be asylum seekers there, there'll be people all over the locale, because everybody's welcome. And the idea of coming to another country, rebuilding your life, having a stake, it's not just about our Windrush people, but obviously people who've come over, immigrants who've come over the last couple of years. Some of them may have come over by dinghy to Kent, some of them may be like that, but they're all facing the same thing, uncertainty, but wanting to give it a go. So these events have been very poignant for a lot of people. In our previous event, we had a massive tree that people could stick on labels and write about what their hopes and dreams were. And some of them were really, really poignant, because there were people from countries I'd hardly ever heard of. I didn't know there were people in Luton from these countries, but they'd come over and they'd put what they want. They want to be able to sleep and not fear they'll be taken away, and things like that. And it's great food. We usually have our local MPs attending. The mayor usually comes. And it's our vicar, bishop's coming as well. And it's a really nice way of celebrating Black History Month, celebrating the Windrush generation. And there'll be somebody there talking about getting grants and funding for your businesses. And we're hoping people will get energized and enthusiastic and hopeful about the possibility of starting some kind of enterprise, and seeing that what the support is out there. Starting a business is tough, regardless of background, but there is help out there, and we're just trying to give some inspiration. Previous event we had was an event to say thank you, and we all got to nominate local people from the Windrush generation who had made a major contribution. And what we did, we've had commissioned a Windrush bench, which is situated at the side of the church. And on the brass plaque are the names of the people that we nominated, and we gave them all an award. And these are people who were part of the original carnival clubs in Luton. Right. People who contributed to social care. There's Michael Clark, who is now Borough Commander, Fulham Fire Service.
Wow.
People who've contributed to public service. Donna Hillston, fantastic local business she runs, and has helped other hairdressers. Different people who were nominated, and we gave them an award and their names on our commemorative bench. So we try to do something every year to make sure we keep hold of that narrative, and it's a positive narrative.
Indeed.
And last year we had some people who were in the process of trying to get their settlement sorted, because these are people caught up in the Windrush scandal, where they were denied citizenship, and they've been invited to apply for compensation. And we've had people from the compensation team in London explaining how the scheme works. And, it was really interesting. We had somebody caught up in the nightmare of he's been denied citizenship for years, and now he's been given it, but it's taken him ages to actually claim the compensation, and the amount he was offered was ridiculous. And it was a real eye-opener. So we try to educate, we try to entertain.
Yeah.
And it's a free event. It's 3:00.
So it's a free event.
Free event, and you can register for free tickets, Eventbrite.
Yeah.
Failing that, just rock up. It's 3 p.m. Saturday, 4th of October, All Saints Church. There's no parking around there. So
ever.
Yeah, so you're better off getting a bus from town that stops on Duxborough Road.
Okay, or if not, park at the bottom, because there's a small car park right next door to. Is it still called Beechwood School? Is it not?
Beach Hill. There's a very small car park, but by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that small car park is full.
Get a bus.
Yeah, you're better off getting a bus, getting off the road. You're better off.
Yeah.
Or ask a nice young person for a lift. Ask someone to drop you there. Yeah. And there's a nice buffet, Caribbean-themed buffet, and more steel pan music after the event.
Fantastic.
Downstairs in the hall. So the key thing is free event. It's inspirational, music, entertainment, knowledge. Really nice to meet people. Lovely environment. We'll have a raffle. And
what time does it end?
It's going to be round about 4:30, 4:45.
Oh, so it's not hours. This is just a couple of hours.
It's just a small amount of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it tends to go quite quickly, cram everything in, and it's a really nice place to find other people.
Yeah. Do we have a flyer for it?
There is a flyer which I've sent to Dee, but I can send another one.
Okay, that would be great. I'll share it with my people.
I don't think we've got a flyer. But what we'll do is we'll share that on our Facebook anyway, and our Instagram. We will share that so that everybody can see. So it is. Hello, Louise. How you doing, Louise? It is on Saturday, 4th of October, 3 p.m.
All Saints Church, 3 p.m. There's no parking.
There is, and seriously, people, there isn't parking. If you find a parking space, you're going to be
All Saints Church.
All Saints Church, yeah.
Shaftesbury Road, yeah.
You're going to be parked all the way up by Kingsway, and then you'll have to walk. So there's parking is a bit of a nightmare. However, get a lift. Ask some nice young person. I don't know who this young person is. Jenny's wanting us to ask, but ask some nice young person to drop you off. But it just sounds like it's going to be an absolutely brilliant event.
It's always good. It's always good. Really motivational, and make people. If you don't know much about the Windrush generation, good way of learning. If you do, and it's your legacy, it's a great way of celebrating it. Celebrating the resilience of the people who came here, and some of the businesses, and some of the how they overcame their challenges, the businesses.
Yeah.
And inspiration of what the younger generation, the businesses they're now building.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Jenny, I say this all the time, we're going to get people back on, and we do get people back on, but Jenny is actually coming on in a couple of weeks to talk about another topic, which is really important. And I don't even know if I even realised how important it was until you said it. But we'll save that for a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
We have got, what are we today? We've got 29th of September. I think there's only a couple of spaces left for our Well Women's event at the Irish Forum. Nike's gloating because she's already got a ticket. It's a free event talking about all things women and health. Everything around women's health. And it starts at 6:30, finishes at 8:30 at the Irish Forum on the 29th of September. You need to go, you need to let us know, message us, email us, and then we'll book you in. So it's going to be really good, really good. We're out of time, people. We are literally
I've had a great time. Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Listen,
it was very nice talking to you.
It's been an eye-opener. Honestly, it's been an eye-opener.
Here's what the mantra is. You need to leave here today with those 3 words. It's not pie.
It's not pie.
It's not pie. Yeah, that's a good one. That is such a good analogy.
It's not
pie. But then you need to share with people what that actually means. But we know what it means. Yeah. We know what it's not pie.
But just tell them first. But just tell them first. It's not pie, and make them try and work out what it is, and then you deal with them. It's not pie.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Lovely. Loving your scarf and your jumper as well. I'm loving that. Right.
Oh, thank you.
People, I'm going to go back to work. It's been lovely. I'll see you soon.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks, okay? Right, and everybody else, we will see you again next week.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Let's end this.